So here we have a 2023 Chevrolet Suburban High Country. And this Suburban comes in iridescent pearl tricoat on jet black perforated leather interior. And then the powertrain on this Suburban is going to consist of a 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 engine. I made it with the 10-speed automatic transmission. And like the Silverado High Country, I just really love the overall design of the Suburban High Country, as well as the Tahoe. As you get to the front here, you see we have those LED daytime running lights, along with LED headlamps. And I really just love this kind of bronze grille here, how it coincides with the aluminum trim. Just a really, really sleek look. Let's take a look at these 22s down here. Really nice, sleek look there. And then this one has an $1,800 option for the perimeter lighted power retractable running boards. And you can see the lighting down in there. Or maybe you can't. And there we have our door panel, so power door locks, power windows, power mirrors. And also power fold with blind spot monitors. And memory seating here. And of course we have a Bose sound system. Comes standard on the High Country. Then over here to the left side of the steering wheel, we have our electronic parking brake, auto stop, parking sensors, four-wheel drive controls, drive modes, and then you get 4 drive modes there. And we'll take a close look at that gauge cluster after a while. Heads-up display controls here, headlamp controls there. And we also have a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And here we have our power driver's seat with power lumbar support. Let's take a look at the back seat room next. Now to move this seat, you can fold it down using that first lever there, and then you can slide it back and forth using this one. Let's go ahead and hop in here. So pretty good leg room back here, which is to be expected. I'm 6'3", and I have the seat in front of me adjusted for someone of my size. And then my knees are just barely touching this right here. Almost skinning it a little bit, but plenty of room back here. Now down here, we have our rear AC controls, and we can set that to an auto mode, or we can have it set 3 different ways. 2 USB-C charging ports here, and then the outboard seats in the second row are heated 3 stages. Then we have a 3-prong 110, 120 volt household plug-in. Here's a quick look at that 3rd row. And that's just a look of the panoramic roof with it closed. And we'll take a look at that open when we get to the front again. But let's take a look at this 3rd row room. So I can actually sit back here, surprisingly. And that's my leg room there. It's not the most comfortable just because how the seats are set up, but I can fit back here no problem. Then we have 2 USB charging ports on either side of the 3rd row, along with a cup holder and a little tray you can put your phone in or whatever. And then you can actually, from the 3rd row here, if you want easier access to get out, you can hold this, and then you can fold that down. Let's go ahead and check out the trunk space. And then coming around to the back end here, we have our LED tail lights and that dual exhaust there. And there's our power lift gate. Of course, this being a Suburban, plenty of trunk space behind the third row. And then we also have another 3-prong household plug-in. You can also power fold the third row down. Now I will say, as this car is fresh, the exhaust tends to be pretty unbearable first few miles as you're breaking it in. So as I was getting in there, all I was smelling was fumes. It was pretty bad. So just keep that in mind. I wish they'd fix that. Then here's our power front passenger seat with power lumbar. There's our glove compartment with owner's manuals. And then I really like these pockets you get on either side. It's nice to be able to slide something in there, kind of hide it. And while we're over here, let's take a quick look at this window sticker. You all can pause the video, take a look at that. Let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the engine bay. And there's that 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. Let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So over here to the radio, we do have that new Google Assistant system. So we have access to, most importantly, the Google Maps, which is very intuitive, very easy to use. And then for music, we have AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth audio. And we have a USB input. And then we also have podcasts and Google News. And on top of that, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. And then we have our backup camera there with guidelines that turn as we turn the steering wheel. We have curb view cameras, tow hitch view, and then if you're backing up to a trailer, you have that view there. Now to our shifter over here, we have P for park, press that, pull up here for reverse, press here for neutral, pull here for drive, press L for low mode, and you can manually shift there. Down here we have dual zone automatic climate controls along with 3-stage heating and cooled seats for the driver and front passenger. And then we can toggle that rear climate as well. And then down below here we have a nice size wireless charging pad, a USB-C, USB-A input along with the 12-volt. And then we can also pull up the controls here on the screen, which I like, so I can toggle between the front and the rear, and then set the auto mode, sync them, whatever. And there we have our cup holders, and then we have our center console cubby space there. And check this out, there's that full panoramic sunroof there. Really nice. Just love that view, nice and big. And then we have our controls, so we can power fold the third row from up here. We have that for our power lift gate. We can one touch tilt and slide here, as well as activate that sunshade. Then we have our LED dome lights here, universal home remote. Then we have our rear camera mirror. We can toggle that on and off. Quick look at the back from up here. And then going to the steering wheel, we can toggle our cruise control here, gap adjust for the forward collision alert, heated steering wheel toggle. And And then over here we have our voice recognition control, mute, and then the scroll bar and these buttons here are all for your new digital gauge cluster that we got in 2022. Really like that. And let me just show you those modes again. We have off-road, tow haul, sport, and normal. And then behind the steering wheel on the left side, we have our track list or radio station favorite controls. And then on the right side, we have our volume controls. There's our push button start there. And there we have our heads-up display. Finally, we have our key fob with remote start. But next it's time we go ahead and take this 2023 Suburban High Country with a 6.2 liter V8 out on the road for a quick test drive. So to start out with, I really like the technology just in the Suburban. Having the heads-up display, the digital gauge cluster, the screen here, I just feel like I have all the information that I need without having to look down, look around. It's all just right there in front of me. Now I'm going to put this in the sport mode for just a little bit to see how it reacts. So it does tend to rev hot. And of course, great power with a 6.2 liter V8, even for this massive Chevrolet Suburban here. Now I have the lane departure on now with the lane keep assist. And this isn't a lane centering, but it does tend to do better than the lane keep assist in some of the other vehicles I've test driven from GM, like the Acadia comes to mind, the Enclave. Actually doing a really good job right now. But a really plush ride coming down the interstate here. We're getting right at 20 miles a gallon, it looks like. And sound acoustics are pretty good. You can just barely hear the wind. And even with these bigger 22s, the ride doesn't really suffer at all. And there's our auto stop that just came on. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this Suburban High Country today. And I'll leave a link below to the vehicle in the description, as well as a link to their entire inventory, as vehicles are starting to come back to the dealers here, even though it's getting to be late 2022. But better late than never. But this Suburban, just a really, really great ride. Now, if I were to get a Suburban, I don't even know if this would be possible, but I would want a second row bench just because if I'm getting one of these instead of a Tahoe or something else, it's because I need the space. So I definitely want to do an 8-passenger setup here. The only difference between me getting one of these and a Traverse High Country would be that extra space behind the third row. Because I like these and how they ride, but I wouldn't personally pay the extra 20 or 25 grand to have a Suburban instead of a Traverse, just because I don't need to have something this big that gets worse gas mileage. But some people, you know, they do heavy towing, haul a lot, like having the bigger motor, and just like the look of the Suburban better. So to each his or her own. Well, as I come to the end of the test drive, I want to thank you all for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you liked what you saw today. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next video.